Hey guys, D.Bowie here, and this is things I learned with Midone Slark in 706. This game starts very well for Slark. Not only he gets his rune stolen, his pounce doesn't reach the creep wave in time to block it. At least Treant got the other bounty. But still, he's going to face an Undying Legion lane. This is something I rarely see being done, and it's great in case you're in the team against a weak agility core. Without the stealth shield, Midone is super squishy. Even Dandy could probably beat Midone in a box match right now, and by contesting the rune of that core, which again is not hard, look how Midone has to play. One thing that I love about how Midone is facing Undying here is how much time he waits until he hits a tangle. When you lose or gain strength, you will always stay in the same HP percentage. So if Midone eats one tangle when he has minus 12 strength instead of minus 4, when decay ends, he will regen way more HP in comparison than if he started eating one right after the first decay. He was so happy he knew that he gets just too pumped up. He remembers Puppy's karate lessons and just jumps on Undying like the grown and masculine fish he is. And yeah, you know how that ended up. You're going to see Midone die a lot in this game, and this is why I love it. Not because it's Midone dying, but because it's a Slark. Just kidding, guys. It's super tough to come back from games like this. Not necessarily game difficulty, but mentality difficult. As he comes back, more aggression. The fact that he still doesn't have a PMS really hurts him, and this is why picking Slark early in the draft is risky. This is not hard to pull off, and not easy to counter. Put yourself in Midone's gills here. Is there really anything he can do? Well, there has to be. Now the problem is what it is. He doesn't have damage block, he's not close from an Iron Talon, and all he can do is pretty much leech as much experience as possible while trying to delay the push. I like the small boop to cancel clarity, but that's as far as he can go. Since Treant wants to be efficient, he kills himself while buying back to help top lane, giving more experience to Midone. He finally gets level 2, and pay attention to how Midone gets his PMS here. If there's one thing that tilts me, is that safe lane player that is too pressured, quote unquote, to buy boots or magic stick in the side shop, and then he just gets your career right when your bottle is ready. It doesn't matter how strong a lane pushes, it will push back eventually, especially now that the creep equilibrium spot is closer to the off lane, and it will eventually give you time to buy an item like he does here. Anyways, now you will witness some 9k MMR play here. The lane is pushing, right? So that's the first aspect of this skill. Midone going for a kill that seems completely impossible, but with Creeper Rhinos on his side, he believes it's possible. He also draws Legion closer to him by drawing aggro, and I mean, after all, she's a fucking Legion, she has the lane advantage, she needs to impose herself. And while Midone just keeps playing, but eventually, when the range creep is about to die, the time our Legion mood retreat, he starts attacking. Also, Legion Commander has overwhelming nods and can use that move speed to disengage. See how he doesn't go for the pounce right away? Legion is now locked, but only when she's about to die, and an amazing outplay happens right here. That was a phase boots Legion, by the way. Unfortunately, since Zeus had a haste rune and Legion respawned, our fighting apprentice falls once again. With no vision of Undying and Zeus being close to level 6, he decides to walk back to the lane instead of TPing in. Undying is there farming this huge stack of small creeps, and Midone engages. Again, he is not in a condition to fight, so he basically tries to see with how many SS shift right clicks he can get away with, because that's pretty much what he can do. See what he's doing here? He noticed what Dire was planning to do and is leeching experience. He makes sure to go like that to be sure that there's no vision of him, and apparently there was not. I like how bold he is, but he underestimated Undying's heal and also the Orb of Venom. Once again, Midone becomes fried fish. Tough life. At this stage of the game, without level 5 and Iron Talon, this is really the only thing he can do. Going other lanes won't help him to get level 6 fast enough, and while jungling without what I just said is almost as good as giving up in the game. With his ward ending, Midone gives up on going back to the lane and just waits. It's tough, right? Feeling completely useless while your team pings you, but with those items and skill build, he has nothing better to do. I'm that serious here. Eventually, the creep wave pushes, and I love what he does here. He breaks one tree that could be used as a fog for someone to engage there. Finally, he can last hit in peace like the true 9k MMR player he is. One thing that I love is how pros learn with their mistakes and experiences. As Midone is close on getting level 6, Timbersaw shows up and Midone impresses him with the skills HFN taught him during the Kiev majors. Still, as a Slark in this situation, Iron Talon is key. This is the item that will propel you towards Aquila Shadowblade or Midas Shadowblade depending on the feel of the game and how far you're behind. Timber uses his own technique and almost distracts Midone enough to get killed by Zeus. When he goes back on farming the jungle, see how he's farming? A lot of players just dive in that hole and forget how dangerous it is. In this game, you can bet your fish's ass that someone will come looking for you, so he constantly lures the creeps to the high ground. Finally, Timber shows up, he gets level 6 as Zeus shows up, and if you're feeling weird or confused as to why Aquila is the item Midone wants to go for, basically farming with Slark is about having mana regen, that's basically it. Aquila is the best item for AG cores that need mana regen and some stats, meaning that you can farm the jungle pretty much non-stop with it. It's not a necessity, but it's a pretty damn good item on Slark, and it can increase your farm to get Thread's Shadowblade in a game that you're not super behind, but that's not exactly the case in this one. Here, see how Midone doesn't spend pounce when Zeus shows up? Not only the creep wave is coming, but level 1 pounce is like level 1 blink with Queen of Pain or Anti-Mage. You need to be super aware of the cooldown, and using it without real danger can put you in a worse situation than you felt you were before. He regens to full HP, and with Vision from Undying mid, he feels safe going back. If you pay attention to Dire's lineup, they are not the best at sieging. They have two cores that are terrible at it. In a game against a Terrorblade, for instance, Aquila into Shadowblade would be more advisable than Midas. In this game though, he feels like he has enough time until the item pays off. He TPs top and pay attention how he approaches this fight. First of all, instead of going through the lane, which will make him slower, because Dire was going to have vision of him eventually, he goes through these juke spots. And pay attention, Bristle is being dueled. With Lion there, focusing Legion is asking to give Lion a free double Earth Spike. But Lion was level 6 with 130 mana and he actually clicked on him, and guess what? That skill costs 140. I can't know for sure whether Midone knows that, but the important aspect is the angle he jumps from, to dodge Legion while also having Dark Pact to purge whatever they throw at him. Eventually Zeus shows up, and look how Slark plays this. You're a sneaky fish, you don't dive the tower like a Sven, you want to re-engage after healing from the outskirts of the teamfight. They do kill Zeus, but not for free. He spots the bottom lane pushing, and as soon as he goes there, Dire shows up in mass. He tries to help his team mid, and here we see why Aquila is great on Slark. He will definitely have enough mana to ult in that situation, and dies pretty close on finishing Midas. Pretty unfortunate, but sometimes you kinda need to help your team because sometimes a fight like that can completely snowball the game against you. He gets a nice reward here. As he runs to the high ground, he realizes that he lost Shadow Dance and pings the most common location. The beauty of Dire's wards though is how it can confuse you if you're tilted or in a hurry. But being so afraid after this game, a lot of his memories training with Puppy start coming back and he just disengages. He probably thought Legion was around to duel him. He soon realizes his mistake, while Treant probably raged quietly. In an attempt to harden Midone's resolve of winning TA7, Treant uses banter to encourage him to play better. Let's talk about item build now. Yes, Midone is recovering this game, but let's be real here, there's still a huge amount of burst damage that can kill him. Going Shadowblade without Threads is suicide in this game. I really like his decision in that regard. He either needs Aquila or Threads, and I feel like Threads is better against burst damage. I also love how he engages in this fight. Midone bought a TP when he got Threads, and eventually a fight unfolds in the mid lane. His team commits 2 buybacks for it, so that's definitely the time to engage, even without Shadowblade. I also like that he uses the Shrine instead of the tier 2 TP. Nice pounce to the high ground, and also nice Shadow Dance to make sure that Undying was not going to heal too much before he got him. Never underestimate a full mana Undying that can cast Decay on 5 heroes. But just to reiterate, this is the second fight he is engaged in, even though he had a terrible game, so there are times that you just need to show up and not lose the fight too hard with your team, or else, even though you're recovering, you're just going to lose the game. With Shadowblade, we start seeing Midone go for kills. In this clip here, he spots Lion entering their side of the map. Knows he only has 3 magic 1 charges and 960 HP and 3 armor. First of all, Dark Pact and Pounce deals 370 damage after reductions, which means he needs to deal 600 extra damage. The Shadowblade attack in full will hit 200 damage, give or take after reductions, so that's 400 HP left. Every attack that Midone throws with Agithreads is going to hit for close to 100, so the question is, can he kill Lion with 4 attacks before Dark Pact ends? It's close, but he manages to. Usually, when you're ganking heroes with Shadowblade against heroes with instant disables like Lion, you want to engage with Shadowblade from behind, because you get extra hits because of the turn rate. But with Dark Pact, it doesn't really matter all that much. It's really a question of understanding your damage output in that 2.5 seconds frame that is your Dark Pact entire duration. Now, a lot of people when they get pickoffs like to keep farming or split pushing, especially when they had a terrible early game. The thing though is that Dire stood in the bottom lane with Lion dead and Undying in the shrine, so it's a great idea to engage them. Zeus is clearly the hero that he should initiate in most fights since he is the easiest to focus down and also one of the highest damage sources on Dire. In the end, even being 3, 6 and 2 and completely destroyed in the early game, Midone is now top of the net worth. The key when playing Slark and in disengagement start to happen is not let the foot off the pedal until you lose an important hero. Some players will take tier 1 and go farm in other lane, or take tier 2, when in reality they can keep taking pickoffs in that area while the rest of the team sieges. He spots Legion Commander and I love his approach in this gank. Midone doesn't have Shadow Dance yet, so he commits enough on Undying only to give time for his team to reach him. Look how he plays. A lot of Slarks only know how to use Pounce, Dark Pact, ult and get out. If they don't have ult, they either die or they don't fight. But there are other means of playing him. That play right there healed him for a lot of HP, giving him the chance to go back and kill Legion. So let's rewind. It all started with that Lion pickoff. It snowballed to Zeus and Timber, and now they're killing other 2 heroes. Slark is great at this. The fact he gets stronger after every pickoff means that you really need to use this momentum in your favor as much as possible. And when you're in a game like this, and when you're in a game like this one where the enemy had such a strong grasp in the game, it's even easier to see things like this happening. Heroes coming one by one. They also have an OD that works pretty much the same as Slark. And there's no way in hell Dire can kill him without everyone together. And that's it, the entire net worth difference is now 0. As a Slark, instead of constantly farming and split pushing in every game that starts bad, try to snowball games like this when you already have your Shadowblade and there are heroes that you can get pickoffs. Guys, as I said in the other video, I'm now using chill hop songs in my videos. I just love them. Please comment crispy music to let me know that you like it. Pugna is a platform where you can learn from people like Chessie, Fog, Monib and get better at the game. They have now great content on the new patch, and if you want to raise your MMR, it's a great time. Just figure out the patch faster than others and get those easy wins. If winning MMR is not enough for you, you should definitely check out our new partner, Lootcase. There you can win and find beautiful cosmetics and go from 0 to hero. They give you a bonus on every deposit you make, and if you sign up with my referral link, you're gonna get an even bigger bonus, so check that out.